So you're here because you want to learn English, right?
Yeah.
Faster, more effectively.
Yeah.
Maybe you feel a bit stuck. All the grammar rules, just so much stuff to learn.
It can definitely feel overwhelming.
Well, if that sounds like you're really not alone. And that's what this deep dive is all about. We're digging into something called 20 life-changing English learning tips. It's based on real experiences from learners all over the world, really practical stuff.
And what's great about this source material, I think, is that it really focuses on, well, more than just textbooks.
Right.
It highlights how important your mindset is, and those small daily habits, they make a huge difference.
Exactly. So our mission here is to pull out the best bits, the really actionable tips that can genuinely change how you learn English.
Sounds good.
Let's kick things off with shifting some of those, internal language habits first.
Okay, so tip number 1, think in English. Every single day. The source points out a really common problem. Learners constantly translating in their heads. From their native language to English, back again.
Oh, yeah. That takes so much mental energy.
Yeah.
And it's slower, right?
It is. And it can lead to weird phrasing, mistakes you wouldn't otherwise make. It stops you really feeling the language.
So the alternative is training your brain. Actually think in English. Sounds like a big step, though.
It does, but the tips suggest starting small, like really small.
How small?
Okay, so look around you right now. Can you just name 5 things you see in English, in your head?
Ah, okay. Like lamp, laptop, mug, water bottle, window.
Exactly. Simple, but you're making that direct English connection. No translation needed.
Right.
And then you build on that. Simple thoughts. The source gives examples like, I am sitting, or the window is closed.
Just noticing and narrating, but in English.
Precisely. You're forming basic English sentences about your immediate reality. It starts building those neural pathways, like making little tracks for English in your brain.
And the source stresses this is gradual, doesn't it? Not like flipping a switch.
Absolutely not. It's about doing these little mental exercises consistently, day after day. They add up.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's move to tip 2. Speak English out loud to yourself.
Yeah, this one might feel a bit awkward at first for some people.
I can imagine. Talking to the walls.
Maybe. But it challenges that idea that you absolutely need a speaking partner all the time to practice speaking.
Okay, so what's the benefit of talking to yourself?
Well, think about it. You're getting your mouth, your tongue, used to making English sounds, forming the words. And your brain gets practice putting sentences together in English, but without any pressure. No one's listening, no one's judging.
Right. You like a safe space to experiment. Low stakes.
Totally. And the examples are super practical. Just describe what you're doing. I'm making tea now. I need to wash these dishes.
Or narrating your day, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, this morning I got up late, or I felt pretty good today. It's always available, and as the source says, it costs absolutely nothing.
Can't argue with free practice. Okay, that leads nicely into tip 3, using the shadowing technique. This sounds interesting.
Oh, it's powerful. Really effective.
So what is shadowing exactly?
Basically, you listen to a native English speaker, maybe from a recording, and you repeat what they say immediately after them. Almost at the same time.
Like an echo?
Kind of, yeah. But you're not just repeating the words, you're trying to copy their pronunciation, their rhythm, the intonation, the musicality of how they speak.
Okay, I can see how that might feel a bit weird at first. Mimicking someone.
It can, yeah. The source acknowledges that, but it also calls it kind of magic because of the effect it has.
So what should you shadow? Like what kind of audio?
Good question. The source suggests things like YouTube videos, podcasts are great for this, even bits from movies or TV shows. Just find something where the speech is pretty clear.
And how long should you do it for?
They suggest starting small again. Maybe just 10 minutes a day. You should start noticing improvements in your own flow and pronunciation pretty quickly. It helps you get that natural English sound.
10 minutes seems manageable. Okay, tip 4. This one I think hits home for a lot of learners. Learn sentences, not just single words.
Oh, definitely. Big one.
I mean, who hasn't spent hours memorizing lists of vocabulary, just words on their own?
Right. And the source really nails why that's often not the best way. Language isn't just a pile of bricks, it's how they fit together. Context is everything.
So knowing a word doesn't mean you know how to use it.
Exactly. The example they give is the word important. You could learn that word. Or you could learn the sentence. It's important to drink water every day.
Okay, so you see how it's used.
Yes, and you get so much more. You see the grammar, it's important too. You learn vocabulary, important. Drink water every day, and you even get a feel for how it sounds in a natural phrase.
It's like getting a whole package deal. And the tip mentions creating a sentence bank.
Yeah, basically keeping a collection of useful sentences. And when you learn a new word, try writing a few different sentences using it. It really cements it in your mind.
And helps you learn those natural word combinations too, right? Like drink water, not take water or something.
Precisely. Collocations. It makes your English sound much more natural. You move from just knowing about words to actually using them.
Makes sense. Okay, tip 5 is broader. Make English part of your daily life.
Yeah, this is about immersion, even if you're not living abroad.
It sounds like common sense, but how do you actually do it?
Well, the source gives some really concrete ideas. Change your phone language to English.
Ooh, brave.
Maybe. Or watch the news in English, follow English-speaking accounts on social media, listen to English music.
So just surround yourself with it.
Kind of, yeah. It's about creating this sort of English-friendly environment for your brain. Constant exposure, even if it's passive, your brain is still picking things up. Patterns, sounds, words.
Subconscious learning, almost.
Exactly. And the source really emphasizes the long-term impact. It adds up significantly over time.
Okay, moving on to how we interact with English content more actively. Tip 6. Use active listening, not just passive watching.
Right. Big difference here. We often put on a show, maybe with subtitles in our own language.
And think we're practicing listening. Yeah, I do that.
But often you're mostly reading, right?
Oh.
Active listening means really focusing on the sound, on the spoken words.
So what does that look like? How do you do active listening?
The source suggests things like, listen to just a short clip, pause it, repeat what you heard out loud, try writing down phrases you catch, even imitate the speaker's pronunciation and intonation.
So he's much more interactive, breaking it down.
Yes, you're really engaging with the sound, not just letting it wash over you. It's about catching those nuances of pronunciation, how words link together.
That sounds way more effective than just having Netflix on. And the source says even short sessions work.
Yeah, absolutely. 10-15 minutes of focused active listening can be really powerful. You don't need hours.
Good to know. Okay, tip 7 opens up interaction. Use language exchange apps.
This is a brilliant way to connect study with actual communication. Apps like HelloTalk, Tandem, Speaky, there are quite a few.
And they connect you with native English speakers.
Yep, who are usually learning your native language, so you help each other. It's an exchange.
A win-win. And you can chat in different ways.
Totally. Texting, sending voice messages, actual voice calls, even video calls sometimes. It gets you having real, spontaneous conversations.
Which where you learn that everyday English, right? The stuff not always in books.
Exactly. How people really talk, the slang, the common phrases. And the source suggests aiming for even just 15 minutes of chat a day. It builds confidence hugely.
15 minutes seems doable. Plus, you get cultural insights too, I bet.
Absolutely. It makes the language come alive.
Oh, okay.
Tip 8 flips the script on study habits. Study less, but more often.
Less? Really? That sounds counterintuitive.
It does, compared to how we often think about studying, like cramming for hours.
Yeah, pulling an all-nighter before a test.
Yeah.
Which never really worked long-term.
Exactly. This tip is about the power of spaced repetition. Our brains actually learn better with short, frequent study sessions rather than long, infrequent ones.
Why is that?
It's about how memory works. You learn something, then you start to forget it. If you review it just as you're starting to forget, it strengthens the memory trace much more effectively than reviewing it constantly or waiting too long.
Okay, so short bursts are better for sticking things in your long-term memory.
Precisely. So the advice is, set a small daily goal, maybe just 10 or 15 minutes of focused English practice. Read an article, review vocabulary, do a grammar exercise.
Consistency over intensity.
That's the key takeaway. Little and often beats cramming.
That's actually a relief. Okay, tip 9 focuses on vocabulary again. Keep a vocabulary journal.
Right. Don't just rely on your memory to magically absorb new words.
So write them down.
Yes, but not just the word. Write the word, its definition, and crucially, an example sentence showing how it's used in context.
Ah, context again, like in tip 4.
Exactly. And the source even suggests adding a little drawing or visual cue next to it. Helps some people remember.
Making it more active and personal, not just a dry list.
Right. And then the key part, you have to review it regularly. Look back at your journal, test yourself. That's how you move words from passive recognition to active use.
It sounds way more engaging than flashcards sometimes. Okay, tip 10. Might make some people nervous. Record yourself speaking.
Yeah. Listening back to yourself speaking a foreign language can be a bit cringy at first.
Definitely awkward.
Yeah.
But the source says it's really powerful.
Incredibly powerful because it gives you objective feedback.
How so?
You record yourself talking about something simple. What did you do today? Or tell me about your hobbies. Then you listen back.
Okay. What am I listening for?
You listen for your pronunciation. Are there sounds you struggle with? You listen for grammar mistakes. You listen for fluency. Where do you hesitate? Where could it flow better?
It's like being your own coach. Seeing or hearing the areas to work on.
Exactly. The source says, look, it might feel weird initially, you might not like how you sound at first, but stick with it. You'll hear the progress over time, and it's invaluable insight you can't get otherwise.
Makes sense. Okay, tip 11 builds on speaking aloud. Read out loud every day.
Another great practice. Choose something short, a paragraph from a book, a news article, a short story.
And just read it out loud.
Yep. Focus on clear pronunciation. Try to get the rhythm and flow of English. Don't just read in a flat monotone. Try to read with some expression.
What are the benefits here?
Improves your pronunciation, reinforces vocabulary you see in context, helps you get a feel for sentence structure, and builds confidence in producing English sounds.
And the tip suggests recording yourself doing this too.
Yeah, and then maybe find a recording of a native speaker reading the same text if possible and compare. It gives you a really clear target for pronunciation and intonation.
That's a cool idea. Okay, tip 12 is about focus. Prioritize everyday English, not academic English.
This is really practical advice. Unless you're studying for a specific academic exam like TOEFL or IELTS, or need English for a very technical job.
You probably don't need super obscure words.
Exactly. Focus on the English you need for daily life. Ordering food, talking about your day, describing your job, expressing feelings, making small talk.
Stuff you'll actually use in conversation.
Right. The main goal for most people is communication, right? So learn the language that helps you communicate effectively in common situations. Don't get bogged down in words you'll rarely encounter.
Good point. Tip 13 follows on logically. Use English in real situations. Put it into practice.
Yeah, take it out of the study zone and into the real world zone.
Like how? What are some examples?
The source suggests things like, if you're in an international cafe or restaurant, try ordering in English.
Okay, take a deep breath and go for it.
Exactly. Or write a review online for a product or place in English. Comment on a blog post or YouTube video in English.
Small actions, but they make it real.
Totally. Each time you do it, you're building confidence, proving to yourself you can use the language. It makes your learning functional.
Love that. Okay, making use of dead time now with tip 14. Listen to English podcasts while doing chores.
Yes. Multitasking for language learning.
So learning doesn't always have to be sitting down at a desk.
Not at all. Put on an English podcast or audiobook while you're cooking, cleaning, walking the dog, commuting, whatever.
And even if you're not paying 100% attention.
Even then, your brain is still absorbing the sounds, the rhythm, the patterns of spoken English. It's that constant exposure idea again, creating a background hum of English in your life.
Effortless learning, almost. Okay, let's talk structure and motivation. Tip 15. Set weekly goals.
Super important for staying on track. Vague goals like, I want to get better at English, are really hard to measure.
Yeah, how do you know if you've achieved it? I know I work better with clear targets.
Most people do. So the source recommends setting SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound.
Okay, give me an example for English learning.
Sure. Instead of learn vocabulary, maybe learn 5 new phrasal verbs related to travel this week and use each in a sentence. Or have one 10-minute conversation in English on a language app every day this week.
Much clearer and achievable.
Exactly. Keep them small, keep them clear. Ticking off small goals builds momentum and motivation.
Definitely. Okay, tip 16. This feels huge for a lot of people. Don't fear mistakes, celebrate them.
Yes, this is such a crucial mindset shift. Fear of making mistakes can paralyze learners.
Totally. You just don't want to open your mouth in case you say something wrong.
But the source flips that perspective. Mistakes aren't failures. They're proof you're trying. They're signs of progress.
And that's so.
Because your brain learns from errors. When you make a mistake and realize it, or someone corrects you gently, that correction strengthens your understanding. It clarifies the rule or the right way to say something.
So mistakes are actually learning opportunities, data points for your brain.
Exactly. And remember, most native speakers are not judging you. They're usually impressed you're making the effort to learn their language. Think of mistakes as stepping stones, not roadblocks.
I like that, stepping stones. Okay, tip 17 is about enjoyment. Use English for what you love.
Makes perfect sense, right? Connect your learning to your passions.
So I love cooking.
Watch English cooking shows on YouTube, read recipes in English, follow English-speaking chefs on social media.
Or if I love football.
Read English sports websites, listen to English match commentary podcasts, follow fan pages in English.
It stops feeling like study and starts feeling like fun.
Precisely. You're so much more motivated to engage with English when it's connected to something you're genuinely interested in. Learning becomes a byproduct of doing what you enjoy.
Smart. Tip 18 goes beyond just words. Copy the style of native speakers.
This is about sounding more natural, more fluent. It's not just what you say, but how you say it.
So pay attention to more than just grammar and vocab.
Yeah. Notice how native speakers greet each other. How do they ask questions casually? How do they use little filler words like, well? How do they use humor?
And then try to imitate that.
Gently, yeah. Observe and try to incorporate some of those natural elements into your own speaking. It helps you sound less like a textbook and more like a real person having a conversation. It's about sort of adopting the identity of an English speaker in training.
Becoming more authentic. Okay, tip 19 tackles a related issue. Build your confidence, not just your vocabulary.
So important. You meet learners who know a lot of English grammar rules, tons of words, but they just won't speak.
Yeah, the knowledge is there, but the confidence isn't.
Exactly. The source frames this often as a mindset issue, not a language knowledge issue. And the best way to build speaking confidence.
Let me guess. Speak more.
Speak more. Speak often. Speak even when you're not feeling 100% sure. Allow yourself to be heard. Confidence comes from doing, from having those positive interactions, however small.
Practice builds confidence, which leads to more practice. A positive cycle.
You got it. And finally, tip 20 brings it all together. Fall in love with the journey.
Oh, that sounds nice. But learning a language is hard work.
It is. It's a marathon, not a sprint. There will be good days, and there will be frustrating days when you feel like you're going backwards. That's totally normal.
So what does loving the journey mean in practice?
It means having perseverance, staying curious, being kind to yourself when you struggle. Self-compassion is key, and finding ways to genuinely enjoy the process of learning and discovering this new way of communicating.
Embracing the ups and downs.
Exactly. It's a long-term commitment, so finding joy in the day-to-day process makes it sustainable and ultimately much more rewarding.
So that's the 20 tips. Wow, it really covers a lot, from mindset shifts to very practical daily actions.
It really does. And the overall message seems to be consistent, integrate English into your life naturally, focus on communication, don't worry about being perfect.
And find ways to enjoy it. Progress over perfection seems to be the theme.
Absolutely. And it's encouraging, right? The source makes it clear that you can become fluent even without living in an English-speaking country. It just takes the right habits, the right mindset, and patience.
Patience and kindness to yourself along the way.
Definitely.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe think about this. Listening to all these ideas was just one small thing, one manageable change from these tips that you could start doing today or tomorrow to make your English learning journey feel more effective and maybe even a bit more fun.